Once again, this is the article in the Wilkinson County Post by Judy Bailey, and it's concerning the judicial qualification letter and the response. And it says that some people wrote to the judicial qualification and said that they did not sign these forms and that they know nothing about it. They gave no one the right to use their name to make complaints against the Honorable Judge Robert S. Reeves. This is published in the latest edition of the Wilkinson County Post. The Post talks about 3 people. They don't give their names, and that's their business. But you have a right to know just how the editor, Judy Bailey, writes articles for the people of Gordon, and some people take these words on black words on white paper as gospel. And all we can do is read what others write. But I always heard that there is 2 sides to every story. Now there's a lot I don't know about this, but there is one thing that I do know. There's several things I do know. I talked to the mayor. She did not want to go on camera, and I don't much blame her, considering whatever she says, it will be taken out of context, and that is nothing new for the black man, woman, and their children here in the United States of America. The Reverend and Honorable Nobel Peace Prize winner, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., spoke of how the news media operates when it comes down to reporting the black news here in America, and especially in some of the southern states. And so this is what was written in the Wilkinson County Post. I guess you've seen enough, but let me go to the part here wherein the Ghetto Free Press fills some of the space in the newspaper because Judy Bailey, I guess she see a need to do such. Well, you all know when I first started doing this with the mistreated black lawyers in Georgia, I said that if anybody want to consent to an interview or if they want to talk on camera, just give me a call. Just email and hit me up on the internet. My name is all over the internet, and I will grant you what others denied me. And that's a right and a free access to have newsworthy stories reported to the general public. In fact, this is why I started the Ghetto Free Press. Now, the good editor, my beautiful white Caucasian sister, said and wrote, the 65 complaints against Judge Reeves were sent to the JCQC, the Judicial Qualification Commission, certified mail the week of July the 14th by Lue supporter Bobby Worthy, founder and president of the Justice League United. Bobby Worthy, Lue and supporters, including the mayor's husband, Basil Lue, and I believe they should have marriage license since she said that that's her husband. Her sister, Pamela Reeves, I believe that their mother had a birth certificate, and I do believe that the mother would know if Pamela is the sister of the mayor, so that can be proven. And President Sarah Hunt, and George, Sarah Hunt, the National Action of Middle Georgia, she's the president. And I believe in the archival record of Al Sharpton somewhere, it should show that Sarah Hunt is the mother, is the daughter of some parents, and that too can be documented along the lines of what is. And George Boston Rhines, with the GHETTO Ghetto Free Press, although I do not call myself the Ghetto, I call it the Get To Free Press, but be that as it may, with the ghetto freeway gather the complaints for mailing in an attempt to have Judge Reeves removed from the bench. I called the good editor, Judy Bailey, yesterday, left it on her answer machine that I needed a response from her. Now, be that as it may, the time of this day is not important. It's just that she didn't call me back, that I seen on my telephone. I couldn't see where she called me. And so I'm cutting this video to let you all know, because you have a right to know. My name is George Boston Rhymes, and I too was born of my mother and father. But I did not gather the complaints. So that is indeed, with all humility, love, and respect, a flat outright lie. That is a bold-faced lie. Not one complaint did I go out and try to get or ask people to fill out a form. Not one. Miss Judy Bailey, not one. I didn't give them up for mailing. And I didn't do it in an attempt to have Judge Reeves removed from office. I don't think there's a possibility none of the people that submitted the complaints want Judge Reeves removed from office. I think they just want him off Mayor and Whipple-Lue's case because, number one, there seemed to be a conflict of interest. And all you have to do is watch the videotape and watch Judge Reeves in operation. That's all you have to do. And this is what people of average intelligence are doing. All you have to do is go to Boston G.B.R. and see what people in Canada are saying about Judge S. Reeves. People are people looking at it. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that some of these people go out and have lunch, some of them go on vacation, some of them go down to the fishing ponds, and they are friends. And that's what's making it so difficult to receive justice in the state of Georgia. And this is why possibly that Georgia, did you know this? Georgia is the most corrupt state in the United States. Georgia is the most corrupt state in the United States of America. And I didn't write that, and I didn't do the survey. Others did it. And so no wonder you can be put under a criminal trespass and you haven't broken any law. No wonder our sons and daughters are filling the jails and prisons and going on death row, and it seemed like nobody seemed to care. And then when you go up against this system, it seemed like the clique and those in the slicks are cousins to those who lived under Jim Crow era. And the thing about it is that they think that it's going to continue. Wait a minute. Check this out. Because I don't too much worry about me, you see. I know what I was called to do. And I know who's going to win all this, y'all. See, I just want to thank Judy Bailey. Miss Bailey, Miss Bailey, Miss Bailey. I'm calling your name now, you calling mine. I want you to know I appreciate what you're doing. Because there are some of us can see through the smoke screen. Why don't you exert the same effort about getting the audit done? We'll begin to question now if, well, I'll say that. I don't want to reveal that yet, but I'm going to eventually, don't worry about it. Don't even fret yourself. We're going to roll it all out in a minute. But Miss Bailey, I do want to say this. Have you noticed how God is using you? God is really using you, my beautiful sister. Let me tell you what God is using you to do. Tawana Brown, Attorney Joseph Broom, and a few others that we know about. Because see, all white people are not bad. And I put on one of my videos. I don't know if you watched it or not. White people are telling us and giving us information that we couldn't find out no other way. But they too are tired of some things, Miss Bailey. And so God is using you and what you're doing through your paper. God is using the middle of Georgia television stations to highlight what he won't highlight it for Quitman, Georgia Mayor James C. Brown III. God is using Attorney Joseph Boone to prove and to show what is happening in Meigs, Georgia, with that attorney fighting the mayor up there, fighting against the council, and there's a breakdown in city government. God is using Judge Reeves and others to show what Mayor George Ivory is going through in Warrenton, Georgia. God is using the governor of the state of Georgia, the Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, Attorney General Sam Orleans. He's using them to highlight what happened to the mayor in Lumpkin, Georgia, Charles Gibson, when he was called a nigger by a white council member. And I received a call from a person in high levels of government in the state of Georgia, say, George, go down there and cover that. The citizens who snicker and make fun at the Garden mayor and take pictures and video and who hit my hand really assaulted or struck me, but you don't see where I came out at her, because I understand something. God is using her too. God are using the lady that said to me, along with Miss Bailey, when she asked me about, do you live it, asked the mayor rather, is he a member of the press and you gonna let him talk? And is he a member of Gordon? God is using them too. He is using them to show what the mayor is going through in Davisboro, Georgia. And so this thing now is bubbling up, so everybody in Canada, in Mexico, in Afghanistan, in Germany can see what a real democracy looked like in the United States of America. God, the God of my ancestors, they are working. They, the people, are working. See, I believe in the spirits beyond the grave. I believe in that. I believe not the so-called voodoo that you are. I'm talking about the power of the living God. I'm talking about what y'all talk about, but don't practice it, and you don't meditate, and you don't fast, and you don't wait to see the salvation of God. But do you not know that the black man moves like the turtle because the turtle is the black man's cousin? It's time y'all know that now. The turtle is indeed the black man's cousin when it comes down to the way we attack Satan, his forces, and those that follow him. If you notice, I don't get in a hurry. I don't hate nobody. I just keep moving like the turtle. And when you come after me, as some have already done throughout the military, I never lift my hand. But God always sent men from far distance, some of them that I didn't even know, and took care of the situation. I don't follow the edict of some others, but I believe in what David said. Touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm. And I never say I'm a prophet. I never even say that I'm a Christian. I don't say I'm a Muslim. I don't say I'm a Jew. I don't say I'm a Hindu. And I don't say that I'm any other of those high, prestigious names. I just say to you that I love you and that I want for you the same things I want for myself, my family, my own children and coming generations. And I want to do unto you as I want you to do unto me. But if you do not treat me like I treat you, if you don't give me the respect that I give you, it's okay. Because you see, I love you so much until the pain that you may inflict on my mental mind, or you may cause it hard for me like they did in the military. And that's another message for another day. God have blessed me to take it because I'm ready for everything. And wherever the man of God leaves off, another one will take up the slack. Sometimes it take 100 years, but he will be back. I promise you that. That same man and that same spirit will be back until God's mission is complete. So let me get on point. I haven't lost my point. You see, God did not give me the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. So let me get on back on point. The cousin of the black man is the turtle. When they hit me, when they did certain things, I'm on the 17-month criminal trespass with Lowndes County Sheriff Prine, and they won't even remove me from it, although I violated no law. He have no idea that God is using him in such a way that is going to be so detrimental to Satan's imps until he don't realize it. God is using Valdosta and all the things that she has gotten away with, she thought. Sidney Johnson drug up and down the street there in Valdosta. The week of terror in May of 1918 in Brooks County, they lynched Mary Turner and cut the 8-month-old fetus from her womb and fell to the ground, and a white mob member took the heel of his boot and crushed the head of that baby. Don't you know that God is using all of these people in 2014 to get his point across? This is God. This is not me. This is not CNN. This is not MSNBC. This is not the Civil Rights Organization or the Urban League when they ignore all these newly black elected mayors. Don't you know that is not them? This is God. Can't you see this is God? This ain't no man thing here. This is God want to prove himself to America and the world. God want to show America and the world about a real democracy so people won't have to worry about being lied to in civics lesson. He want the people to see what a real democracy look like in the state of Georgia in 2014. That's what God wants. And God is busy working because God cannot fail. And your arms are too short to stop the progress and the forward mobility of the God of our ancestors who suffered, bled, and died just to go pee-pee in a bathroom at a public highway, on the public highway. So yes, God is working in these latter days, Miss Judy Bailey. And I love you so much. I love Tawana Brown so much. I love Joseph Boone so much. I love all of them. I love Judge Reeves. I love all of y'all. I love you. I love y'all. You don't have to worry about me. What you need to worry about is the God that parted the water, the Red Sea. You need to worry about the God who told Moses to go up to the president of that day by the name of Pharaoh. And God told Moses to tell Pharaoh, and this is what I'm talking about, everybody who failed to report the truth about Mary and Whipple-Lue. This is what Moses walked up to the president of Pharaoh of that day in disguise by the name of Pharaoh and said this to him. Moses stood before the president and told him, said, Mr. Pharaoh, the God of my ancestors told me to tell you to let my people go. God told me to tell you that message. I come to you not as an enemy. I come as a messenger. I do not come as a prophet, priest, king, imam, or rabbi, or monk. I come to you as a messenger. He dropped the message off to the president and got out of the White House. Got out of Buckingham Palace and went on back to work. Then the wicked of that era, like the wicked of this day, got together. They had a discussion. Next thing they knew, somebody was knocking on the door. But before Moses got to the door, he went back to God. And God had gave him further instructions. And Moses didn't understand it. And this is why I'm sure Miss Bailey and others don't understand what God is about to tell Moses. I doubt if the NAACP understand what I'm about to say concerning my criminal trespass warning. I doubt if the SCLC, all due respect, Brother Steele, if you don't understand why you don't come on out here and get with and file a lawsuit, get you a lawyer, and embrace these black mayors in the state of Georgia. I don't think the Urban League, the Congressional Black Caucus, I don't think the Congress, I don't think Georgia legislator understood, nor do they understand what God told Moses. That's why I don't dislike any of you all who's sitting back and allow this to happen. Me, I can't take it. To see a black woman or white woman or a little child to go through what this woman have gone through over here, and that man over there in Warrenton, or that man in Quitman, or that man in Davisboro, or that man in that lady in Meigs, Georgia, or that other person. How can you live with yourself? How can you live with yourself, black pastors? You know the history. How can you live with yourself and don't say nothing? It's a disgrace for the black ministers of Jesus Christ. They proclaim to say they love Jesus and to see what I see. And you can't say you don't know about it, because I didn't give a minute of you all DVDs. I have over 500 DVDs on the street and walking. It's educating people about what the press, the normal press, don't want you to know. And so God shocked Moses. God told Moses, I want you to go back to President Khrushchev again. I want you to go back to President Truman again. I want you to go back to President Clinton again. I want you to go back to the foreign leaders of the world, Moses, and here's what I want you to tell them. While you're at it, tell the president of the NAACP, Francis Johnson. Yeah, Francis Johnson. Tell Francis Johnson, they used to be, I think they got rid of him. But tell him, the presidents of all these black organizations. And so here's what God told Moses. God said, Moses, let me tell you something. Moses said, God, can I interrupt you a minute? God said, go ahead, my brother. He said, Moses will not let him go. He said, I've done this and I've done that. Moses won't let him go. God told Moses, look here, brother. I want you to understand something. Listen, please. This is God speaking now. He told him, said, look at my mouth, Moses. Look real close at me as I talk to you. I want you to go back and I want you to tell Moses, like I'm telling the people that is against these newly elected mayors, let them go. Let them go. Let them go and be treated as all other white mayors in the history of Georgia. Let them go to be free, men and women. And then God looked at Moses. I guess he smiled because he knew Moses didn't understand. Just like the people I just mentioned, God told Moses that. But Moses, let me tell you something. I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart against you. What? Yeah, I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart. I'm not going to make his heart change. I'm not going to change his mind. I'm not going to make him do right. I'm going to harden his heart. I'm going to make you shred documents. I'm going to make you lie on the mayor. I'm going to let you line yourself up with judges and superior court judges and other people in the state of Georgia in the highest of office. I'm going to let you line up with the G.B.R. like they did Miss Lula Smart in Brooks County and charge her on 30 to 40 counts, and the jury found her not guilty of every one of them, and 10 more of them got to go to court. The first trial of Lula Smart was a mistrial, the second a mistrial, and the third was she won it all together. This is what we got to understand. This is what God is doing. God let the Quitman 10 go out and obey the law, not violate the law, but they gave Brooks County for the first time in Brooks County history a majority on the Brooks County Board of Education, and somebody didn't like that. And so God is telling you're going to have to determine who you are when you attempt to fight against God. You are bringing things upon your children, your grandchildren, and negative, or even to coming generation, your whole lineage are being weakening. Pretty soon you won't even be able to produce a child. Down to the third and fourth generation and maybe more. All because when God said, let my people go. Dr. King, I want to talk to y'all. I'm not telling y'all half of the stuff I want to tell you, because the time ain't yet. I got a lot of stuff I got to say. A lot of it is reserved on tape, so my children will play it. Yeah. But heaven and earth will pass away, but God's word will stand forever. So God told Moses, tell him what I tell you. And don't leave out the part when I tell him that God is going to harden your heart. You can tell him that, but don't you tell him by your mouth, Moses. Tell him by the spirit that you walk in. Tell him by your boldness, the way you stand before the president, knowing that you could be killed by those in authority. But yet, tell him, Moses. Tell him. And keep in mind that I, not you, not the devil, not voodoo, but I, the great I am, sometimes called Yahweh, sometimes called Allah, sometimes called Jehovah, sometimes just plain Jah, sometimes called God. And I got over 428 names that he's called. And so when I hear different denominations say you got to call him Jehovah, God knows who he is, and he's not confused about who he is. We just need to get to know him, because when we get to know him, we'll stand up like him. We will fight for his children, including all life sources. We won't put chemtrails in the air without telling the people what in the chemtrail. We will not feed poison to our people to the runoff from the fields into the water to pollute the water. We won't do that if we know the real God, because the real God is about life, and the wicked God is about death, hell, and destruction, lies, and the shredding of documents. And then think that don't nobody know documents were shredded when we got the information, and we got it from somebody who's been touched by God, and they don't want to hear this no more in Gordon, Georgia. Y'all excuse me if I told too much. But there's a lot that will come forth. And in the end, God will get the glory. So you who are fighting the righteous, I'm not telling you to stop. I'm telling you to harden your heart. I'm telling you to keep shredding the documents. I'm telling you to keep trying to deal with the bank so you can line things up the way you want it, like the late Reese was telling me about. He showed me something. So you keep doing what you're doing. But I will assure you that God will win this one. If you're right, you will win. And if you're wrong, and if you're wicked, you don't deserve to win. And according to Scripture, you cannot win. Your hands are too short. Your legs ain't long enough. And your brain power is not holy enough. This is the Ghetto Free Press. I know God. I know God done hardened the heart. I saw God harden the heart of the NAA state president of the NAACP here in Georgia, because I told him about the newly elected mayors at Antioch Baptist Church in Valdosta many, many months ago. He didn't say nothing. He didn't say anything about investigating all the civil rights organizations, all the TV stations, Eric Holder of the Department of Justice, He knows about all of this. He knows about the new information about the murders at Moore's Fort Bridge that took place in 46. Eric Holder had all this information. He still has it. But it seemed to me that God is doing today what he did yesterday. God is hardening the pastors' hearts. God is hardening every denomination, lay members. He's hardening their hearts so bad until they don't even see nothing wrong with police officers shooting their children down in the street like wild beasts, or like we did, or the soldiers did in Vietnam, or drop bombs on men, women, and children, and yet they don't say nothing. Don't blame your mama. Don't blame your daddy. Don't blame your mom and father who are mayors and legislators and Congress. Don't blame them. God is using them. God is using them to be cowards. God is using them not to care about their own children. You see, God won't and will have it the way he said it. This thing is getting so close now to the winding up time until the righteous won't hardly even go to church, a mosque, a synagogue that much. But the wicked people, they have made their home in the church. They can quote scriptures better than you. They can tell you the stories because they're educated. They've been to school. They know the letter, but they don't know the spirit of the living God. People are singing in the choir. They sing good to those people that don't have an ear for the spiritual tune. And so they just keep making fools out of you. Don't you think that Oprah Winfrey, if she just came and got with the newly elected black mayors, that overnight something would change? Don't you know that if that high prestigious Billy Graham's son would step up with the equipment 10+2, don't you think that if Tyler Perry would get on the ship and come down to Mayor Ann Whipple-Lue or Mayor Linda Harris or Mayor out of Quitman, Georgia, or the mayor in Warrenton, Georgia, or the mayor in Lumpkin, Georgia, or the mayor in Douglas, Georgia that was shot 5 or 6 times, or the mayor in... don't you think that if they had enough God in them or love in them for their fellow human beings, don't you think they would come and try to assist them? Well, then why don't they? I can tell you why, and I already told you. God have hardened their hearts against right and righteousness. They could come down, and because God have allowed them to get in positions of power and leadership, like Victor Blackwell of CNN. Let me say it again. Like Victor Blackwell of CNN. Don't you know that if he came here, like he went to the Equipment 10+2, not Equipment 10, but Kendrick Johnson death in Lowndes County, it was Victor Blackwell that highlighted that case. I did everything I could. I called, I told the news media, but they wouldn't listen to me. But I got myself on a criminal trespass, but that's okay, because God will do what he needs to do to get his message across. And if Channel 41, if Channel 13 in Middle Georgia, and if Channel 24 ignore what's going on with Mayor Ann Whipple-Lue, for those men and women behind the curtain, that's okay. God is using them. Excuse me, phrase my voice. God is using them. God is using them, and he's going to keep on using them, and they don't even know that they are being used. And so one day, they're going to take the cameras out, and they're going to want to cover a story that they want to cover. And the government going to tell them, your freedom of the press is gone now. And God going to sit back and say, you had a choice. You had a chance to do what the founding fathers petitioned me to put in their hearts, to write a constitution and a declaration of independence with freedom, but you fail in your responsibility. And now you will no longer operate a newspaper in the state of Georgia. Now you will suffer like the black man, woman, and their children. And so when the train of injustice comes, and when your children got to make break without straw, you'll hear that train coming. But you will have allowed Satan to take over because you did not hear the messenger when he came with the right message. You wouldn't give him a dime. You know that as he traveled from town to town, he needed gas money, but you wouldn't send him a dime. And I don't worry about the people that don't support me. People wonder why I smile. When I sit down to drink coffee, they laugh at me. Say, Ryan, you crazy. They don't even give you gas money, and yet you keep doing what they don't understand. I'm telling you, love is something else. I love them so much until I know God hardened their hearts not to help me. So I can't hate them. At least I fight against God. That's why I don't hate people for not receiving me. I went to a meeting over in Quitman where they honored the Quitman 10+2 Lula Smart for winning her court. They didn't even give me a space to say nothing. They didn't say, Rhymes, you did a good job. They didn't say, Rhymes, I thank you for covering this story because the trial went 19 days and no news media, no television, and no radio station were here to record it, Brother Rhymes, but we thank you for doing it. They didn't do that to me. They treated me like I was a stranger or like I was a Satan myself. They didn't say thank you. As they had all these people, many of them didn't even come to the 19-day court trial. And I was there from the first day when I found about it. Me and Pastor Benjamin walked the streets and interviewed people, and they told us about how the G.B.R. intimidated. But at that meeting, they didn't say nothing about the ghetto free press. They didn't say nothing about we thank George Boston Rhymes for what he has done. None of them said anything. And when I asked for space, they didn't even look at me. Now you asking me, why am I saying this about me? And the Quitman 10 that I love ain't gonna be there tomorrow night again for them at the NAACP banquet. Why would I do that? My friend down there, Freddie Richardson, they call me crazy as I have coffee with them. You crazy for doing what you're doing. These people don't care nothing about you. They want Satan to rule. They don't want the righteous to rule. Why are you speaking good about these pastors? Why don't you call them for what they is? You won't criticize them pastors like you should. And so I catch it from both sides. But there's another side of all sides, and that is I understand that what love is, and I love them so much until I know that it's not them. God have hardened their hearts. God have hardened these people's hearts, and there ain't nothing I can do about it but keep doing what God told me to do. And I'm not here to condemn them. Though we suffer and though we die, by the blood of the Lamb we shall overcome. So I can smile, and I can treat all men the way I want to be treated. When I go to the Garden Council meeting, they snicker, they grin, and they talk about me and point the cameras on me and keep it on me. And you can see this on the video. I'm not telling you nothing new. But what does Brother Ryan do? What do I do? What do I do when they do these things to me? I put in open records requests. They didn't give me what I requested. I had to drive all the way from Gordon to Irvington, Georgia. Sarah Hunt of National Action Network asked me, why did you do that? You didn't have to do that because the law says you're supposed to get it from the OPR here locally. But I rode with David Reeves up there and we got it, went twice. And I kept smiling. Because you see, my love makes me understand when I see God work. See, some people don't know when God is at work. I say, they making me go to Irvington. That means God got something up there he want me to see. So when I went up there and I went to Joseph Boone's office, they don't know what I saw. If I had not went, I would not have been educated to the degree that I am today about this whole situation with Mary and Whipple-Lue. Don't you know that I was here both times the sheriff came here to serve her papers? I couldn't hook that up. I live in Valdosta. But you know something? The God of creation, he's always on point. God don't even need me. God will send a raven. God will send a dove to touch some heart of certain people to continue this work. But there are others, like when God told Pharaoh to let my people go, God hardened his heart. Don't you know when Dr. King lived and he thought he had made a lot of progress? And we thought we had made it through integration. We became integrated, but we didn't become interconnected with each other out of real love. And now they're talking about Ebola and how it's designed to kill the black man. You can't create no drug that'll kill a black man. You can't do that. You see, when the real history of the black man is known, oh, there are white people in the high levels already know it. But when the history of the black man is known and is rolled out with the Ark of the Covenant that Moses had, that's going to be a powerful day. And the sad thing about it is that they can't do it until they get divine inspiration from the God of our ancestors. How long do you think I had what I'm telling you now inside of me? My children know. My children know about me, but you don't, because I won't tell you. But my children know. I went through the military 20 plus years, and I started a little bit of civil rights in 75. But from the age of, I can't tell you that. I want y'all to remember these things I'm telling you. I can't tell you now. But I want to leave this with you. Galatians 6 and 7. Miss Judy Baylor. God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man sow, that shall he also reap. The volume of sacred law tells us to speak ill of no man, but to give ourselves to prayer, fasting, and supplication. King David said, touch mine anointed. Or that's what God said, and David understood it. Touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm. David also said, my own familiar friend sat at my table, wined and dined and supped with me, have lifted up his heels against me. Jesus said, St. Luke 4:18, for the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, and he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor, and recovering of sight unto the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, and to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. There are a few of us left, y'all. Few of us left that God have not hardened our hearts. Don't be the ones who God harden your heart against the righteous. For when God harden your heart against the righteous and the children and the babies and those who are willing to do justly to God's children, when you allow God to harden your heart because you are unworthy, you are unworthy because you sit down and say nothing, and silence give consent, and fear end up in death. And I'm going to close on the note that I've hit 3 times before. the turtle is the cousin to the black man. The turtle moves slow. The turtle has tough skin, like the black skin of the black man. It's tough. You can't even see the blood. He's tough. Not by circumstance, but by originality. The turtle's skin is tough. The turtle has a hard shell. To withstand certain levels of weight. And the shell protects the softness of what is inside of the turtle. But the black man, woman, and their children, not to belittle anyone else, but today I'm talking about the black man and the black race. The tough skin, fighting just to get a right to drink of water, fighting and dying just to get a right to pee in the bathroom, fighting the right to get a vote, just the right to get a right to vote. Yet we had to fight to get a right to go fight and die in the wars of this nation. Had to fight to be called more than a human, or 3/5 of a human being. Our skin is tough. And our shell, like the turtle, protects the softness within the turtle. And that shell on the turtle represents the power and the word of the living God. That shell represents the protection of the living God. And so, in battle, they chose to create a helmet for men in war and combat. They patterned it after the turtle. Just in case nobody ever told you that, just remember you heard it on the Ghetto Free Press. Because we press truth in your brain, because we know that everything going down but the word of God. Back to the turtle, last point. The turtle is tough. He moves slow. Some people run over him just for the hell of it. Others put around him because they understand the holiness and the representation of God. So they cut around the turtle, crossing the street, playing Russian roulette. Can't help himself. But yet, he's given you the shield, or the helmet rather, that you put on in combat, that your children may come home to you. And inside the turtle, the softness of the skin, his major organs are protected. But then guess what else the turtle doing? This is the last point. The turtle sticks his head out. He jack it back in. He sticks his head out and he jack it back in. He sticks his head out and he jack it back in. He sticks it. Sometimes he loses his head. And two turtles can see that head being cut off. But God put something in the turtle that he gonna continue to crawl. And he gonna keep sticking that head out even if it get cut off. Because he knows that whatever his destiny given him by the creator of all that we see, smell, feel, taste, and touch, came from, he's not going to change until he reach his destination. That is why I believe in school they taught you about the race between the rabbit and the turtle, because the turtle is like unto the suffering and the history of the black man. There are others who can run faster than us. They could go to Germany. They got the money to get on the plane and be there in a few hours. The black man may have to pray and let God take him over in a trance, show him that through the Spirit, and he will get the deeper things from God. Look here, I gotta go, y'all. Have a nice day. May God bless you. The Ghetto Free Press. Bye-bye. We gone.